Okay, so I've got my Shadowbox frame here, and I'm going to go ahead and take the back off of this and take out the like little backing paper. So this one is one that is adjustable in depth, so you do have to take all three of these little spacer pieces out and pull those cardboard pieces off. So if you were doing really flat flowers and you didn't need this to be as dimensional, you wouldn't necessarily need this particular Shadowbox frame. You know, whatever, however you're going to do it would work. So I've got the back of it here, and all I'm going to do is cover the very back piece of that frame with the petite print. So I trimmed that down to 11 7/8 by 11 7/8. I'm going to get some glue here and just glue that directly to the back piece of that frame. So the opposite side of that, of course, has like the little things to hang this, which this actually ended up just sitting on with a bunch of other framed pictures I have upstairs, and it stood up just fine, so I didn't even need to hang it on a wall somewhere. It's kind of cool. So I'm just going over this with like burnishing it down and kind of spreading that glue out. So I've just got like a little scraper tool that I'm doing that with, just to make sure it's nice and smooth and flat. And then I'm just going to kind of set one of those spacer pieces on top to help me line up my mouse ear template, my Mickey icon template that I've cut with the Cricut. And I'll actually show that here in just a second, like how I did that in Design Space and how I figured out how to size it and all that kind of thing. So that's coming up next, but I'm just figuring out where I'm going to put it. And I do end up tracing around it rather than trying to like use temporary adhesive to tack that down to be able to place my flowers. Okay, so what I did is I took and put a square in Cricut Design Space. Okay, so what I did is I went into Cricut Design Space and I made a square that is 11 7/8 by 11 7/8, which you can see from the little like red exclamation point icon over here that this is bigger than it will cut, which, whatever. We're not going to cut that square out anyway, so it doesn't really matter. I then have my little Mickey icon that I found in the images in Design Space. And what I did is I just made it a different color, because the one I actually used, let me find that for you and show you the actual one, is this one right here. And this is from, let's see here, this is from the Disney Mickey font, which is one of the very first cartridges they came out with and is no longer available, but you can still get that Mickey icon in Design Space. I believe this, it's also, I think this is the other one it's on. Let me see if this is a different one. Mickey and Friends was the other one. There's an updated version of this that also has that icon, so if you've got either one of those, or if you wanted to just buy it individually, I think those are $1.25, I want to say. You know, you could use one of the other icons like the pants or the glove or the shoe or something, but I wanted to use the normal Mickey icon. So what I did with that is there were actually 4 layers to that, so I just got rid of the layers that I didn't want and was left with this one, and then I just kind of sized it about what I thought would look good. And to kind of help myself with that, I did 2 additional squares that are 4 1/4 by 6 1/4, one landscape, one portrait, so that I could kind of put them on here and go, okay, well, when I have my photo on the mat in the frame with the flowers and everything around it, you know, is this about the size I want my Mickey icon to be? Depending on which way I ended up doing it. So I had done one as well that, and I'll show you that too, that was 7 1/4 by 5 1/4, just in case you wanted to do a 5 by 7 picture, and that's what I was coming up with that. And I really wasn't loving how that one looked, so that's why I just kind of stuck with the 4 by 6. When I got an icon the size I really kind of wanted it to be, which this one is 9.998 inches wide, so basically 10 inches wide, 8.5 high, roughly. I just went ahead and hid my other items on here and then just cut out that Mickey icon so that I can use it to map out where my flowers need to go on my project. Okay, so at this point I have made a whole bunch of flowers, and I'm going to show you on 2 of them how I put those together. But the flowers are from the Doodle Cuts Thanks a Bunch set. This is the newer set that came out with Pretty Kitty, the Pretty Kitty line. So I've used some of the dies, if I can get a hold of them, which of course I'm having a hard time. So I've used these 3. I've done black and I've done yellow, and I've got some blue cut out here, and I'm going to end up doing another color or 2. I'm just not sure what just yet. I did line up my template for my shape in the middle, and I did end up tracing it with a pencil so that I don't accidentally end up gluing any of the flowers to it. And I know that's going to be very hard to see on camera, but what I did is I took my backing from the frame, I took one of those little spacer pieces, and I used my scoreboard to get that lined up and then center up my template. Let's see if I pick this up. Okay, so you can kind of see on there where my line is. Out of the way, because I don't need that right now. And all I'm going to do is just take my flowers, and I'm going to use that template as my guide, and I'm just going to outline that little Mickey icon shape with the black flowers. Okay, so I did, oh my gosh, 18, so 9 of each of the 2 different different shapes in the 2 different patterns. So that's what, 18 and 18, so 36 of these. I've got 10 of the little yellow ones. I've got some blue ones cut, but I'm not sure how I'm going to use those. But basically, I'm just going to follow along my little template here that I've traced, and I'm just going to put these flowers down like so. When I made the flowers, what I did is I just cut them all out, and then I took that center piece, that medium-sized piece, and just flipped it over. Okay, so I did this on the plaid with the polka dot, and then with the scattered dots with the candy stripe, so that I've got both of those patterns. For the yellow, I actually used the Petite Prints, so you can see that that pattern is smaller. But to assemble these, what I've done is I've taken the flower, and I've taken my little stylus here, flower stylus, to just kind of form the flower base so that it kind of stands up a little bit. Okay, and then what I'm doing is I am taking my glue gun and I'm putting a big dollop of hot glue right in the middle. Okay. I let it sit for just a second. I don't want it to totally cool off, but I want it to cool off just a little bit. And I'm just very lightly dropping that centerpiece on top of it. Okay, so what that does is it makes it dimensional. Okay, so you can see on this one, especially if I fold this back, that these pieces are not touching each other. Okay, same thing with the next level up. Okay, they're not touching each other. And I'm doing that with the hot glue rather than, you know, coming in here with 975 bazillion foam dots, because I really don't want to do that. And then I'm just putting these like so. If you end up pushing it down too far, if it hasn't set yet, you can pull it up and push it back down a little bit, and you'll still get that dimension. And then I'm doing the same thing with the centerpiece. So again, right there, you can see I've got a pretty decent sized little dot on there. And I'm just going to drop that right in the middle. And there you go. You've got your flower that's got some dimension to it. And that's what I'm going to use to outline my Mickey icon in the middle of my frame for my shadow box. Okay, so I've got my outline done. I have taken the 3 spacers out of the frame itself, stacked them up, and just kind of tacked the corners together with the glue gun, and then attached that to my base, just because I knew I was going to have to fold up the petals along the edge here. I've got a piece of chipboard that is 4 1/8 by 6 1/8. I've got a 4 1/4 by 6 1/4 mat on top of that, and that's going to go in the middle here. And I'll figure out orientation once I figure out what picture I'm using, because I don't know yet. Rather than use a whole bunch of foam tape to kind of pop this up, because I do want it to stand up, I've just got chipboard scraps. I've got 6 little 3 by 3 pieces here that I'm going to just glue together to form a little stack. And then I'm going to be able to put that down, glue this on top of it, and then this will sit up above my little Mickey here, just nice and firm, and then I don't have to worry about that. Not going to put that in yet. I'm going to go ahead and glue these together with just, you know, normal art glitter. I'm not going to attach them to this just yet, because again, I need to figure out for sure which picture I'm using and go from there. So I've got, like I said, you know, just some yellow flowers that I can fill in here and there, and I want to kind of do it a little bit random. I think I'm going to end up doing some more of the black, honestly, and then my blue ones that I cut and have not assembled yet, I might actually just do my 2 small pieces with these to be able to fill in gaps as I need. But I still haven't decided that yet. I'm going to go ahead and make some more of the black flowers and possibly one other color, and kind of go from there, because I'm not positive I'm going to use the blue ones yet. So I think I'm going to go ahead and use some of this to do some of the white, and then some more black, and I will be back. Okay, so I thought I was recording when I was putting down a bunch of these flowers and gluing them down, and apparently I wasn't. So this, of course, is the finished product. When I went to do my picture, I had it just kind of sitting on that little base piece that I showed you. And I had it like nice and straight, and I was doing something before I added my 2 little chit chat leftovers there. And I bumped it and it went kind of sideways, and I'm like, oh, well, I kind of like it sideways. So instead of it being straight up and down, it ended up being, you know, off kilter, and I really kind of like that. So on some of the flowers, not all of them, just randomly here and there, I did use glitter sprinkles. So the white ones and the yellow ones on some of the flowers. Um, and then I used a couple of the puffy hearts just on my picture itself, that went in the middle there. And uh, like I said, I ended up cutting a bunch more of the black, ended up not using the blue, cut some white flowers, excuse me, just to fill in, and ended up, I was going to try to fill in like all of these little spaces all the way out around the edge. And I finally decided I kind of liked seeing some more of that red peek out around the edges, so I left it the way it was. And there you have it. Nice little shadow box frame. It will stand up just like that. So I've got it sitting out in the other room, standing up like that. And takes a little bit of time to do the flowers, but the end effect, honestly, it's worth it. Absolutely worth it. So thank you for watching, and I'll see you guys again soon with another project. Bye.